Hi everybody, welcome to Go with Grace. So I did a really short parenting video the other day and it seemed like people liked it. I know my videos are usually ridiculously long, so I'm going to try to do a few shorter things like this. The theme I was thinking about today was how we really don't know what we're capable of until we're stretched beyond our comfort zones. And again, I'm thinking about this in particular in terms of raising two young children, right? So I often hear parents, for example, who just have one child saying like, I don't know how you cope with two children, you know, it's so much already with one child, and how do you do? And of course, there's people who have way more than two children, right? You know, I know people with 8, 10 children, and every family's different, and everybody has their own strategies and ways of dealing with it and whatever. I guess, you know, my point, what I was really thinking about was you don't know what you're capable of until you're in that situation. You know, as with anything in life, like any disaster, catastrophe, unexpected thing that happens, somehow or other you get through it, right? Unless you don't, but usually, you know, there's some way of getting through it. And it's just like when I always think about this with women, especially, you know, women who aren't yet mothers, especially in our kind of societies where women who aren't yet mothers don't usually have much exposure to knowing what it actually is like to really have a baby. So it's such a shock usually when they actually do have a baby because they have no experience or very little. It's just like that, right? That transition from 0 to 1 child, it's you know, somehow or other you get through it. It's the same with then if you add on another child, right? Then you can, for me especially, I can overthink things. And you know, before Leah joined us, and I was just used to having a Raya, I was just thinking, you know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to go out of the house? That one completely threw me. How am I going to go out of the house with 2 small children? How on earth? And, you know, kind of really overthinking everything. The truth is, somehow or other, you work it out. You know, you always do. Like you're going to come out the other side of that experience one way or the other. Maybe with more scars, maybe with fewer scars, but somehow or other, you're getting through it. So, you know, that's how you find out what you're capable of. And maybe some days it's more graceful than others, right? It just becomes like a practice, right? And trying to move through everything as gracefully as you can. So we don't know what we're capable of until we are stretched that far. You know, just like if you told a woman who's not yet a mother and wants to be some of the realities of how her life is going to completely and permanently change if she and when she becomes a mother, you know, the things that she's going to do that she could never imagine she would do on behalf of somebody else, it's like she might not realize that she is capable of that. You can do it. Millions of women have done it before you. Millions of women are doing it right now. You know, it's we don't know what we're capable of. And of course, you know, you can stretch yourself too far. You can stretch yourself like way beyond your comfort zone. Like maybe you have 2 children of your own and you decide to open a daycare in your home and there's like 15 other children and you're dealing with everything and it's like absolute insanity and you've stretched yourself too far. You know, that's not helpful for anyone. But there's that sweet spot where you're stretched beyond what you probably ever thought you could possibly do. And you are coping. That's the truth. You're coping just as well as anybody else. You know, nobody knows exactly what they're doing with parenting. You know, everyone's just making it up as they go along and trying to find the best solution they can in each situation. You know, everyone's just doing their best. And when you're in that sweet spot and you are getting through it and you are coping, you come out the other end and there's this glow. You know, there's like the afterglow. There's this feeling of accomplishment. Like, I never knew how I could have got through that. Somehow I got through it. You know, it's rewarding. And you're all growing together as a family. You know, you're learning together and working through things and especially if you can keep the channels of communication really open with your children, I feel like it can be an incredibly rewarding experience for everyone. And it increases your confidence. You realize the things that you're actually capable of in a way that you never would if you hadn't have had that experience. In my experience, it almost always, all day long, feels like it's just a muddle through at this point, you know, with a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. And it felt like that even more in like the last year, as Leah was kind of going through her first year of like, you know, it's just a muddle through. It is. It's like you just muddle through every moment, every hour, every day. It's like, and that can feel so revolting, right? To the part of us that might want everything to be ordered and logical and prepared. And, you know, if we've come from that kind of background or that kind of usual way of thinking, it can seem completely revolting that everything is just a muddle through. But it just is, and somehow or other you get through it and you realize what you're capable of, and that's amazing, right? I heard one woman, a mother of I think 4 children, she said she describes her life as a sacred mess. And I love that. Yeah, so that's kind of all I wanted to comment on was we don't know what we're capable of until we are stretched beyond our comfort zones, and it's there that we truly often have the most rewarding experiences of our lives that we'll probably look back on as the most precious times, I'm guessing. All right, that's it. Leave comments if you have anything to share. Thanks for watching. Ciao.